Do you want to become a talk show host? Do you have a great idea? Passionate World Talk Radio is currently looking for podcast hosts for our Internet Talk radio station. Please email us at pwrnetworkllc@gmail.com with your name, email address, cell phone number, and podcast topic. In return, you will receive a 3-minute intro on air to a live audience about your podcast. Remember, just email us your name, email address, and your podcast topic, and in return, you will receive a free 3-minute intro on the air. How cool is that? Welcome to Passionate World Talk Radio. Educate, enlighten, entertain.
Hello, everybody. This is Betsy Wurzel, host of Chatting with Betsy on Passionate World Talk Radio Network, where we educate, enlighten, and entertain. I am so excited today, folks. You're going to want to listen to this podcast and share it. This is a special podcast because I'm dedicating this podcast to Marsha Burr's wife, late wife, Gaydana. Gaydana and Marsha taught me about the happy place. And I just can't express enough gratitude to Marsha Burr, who's my guest today, for telling me about the happy place and for being my first mentor, a real mentor in Dementiaville. And I want to welcome you, Marsha Burr, to Chatting with Betsy, and thank you. And I dedicate this show to Gaydana's memory and her life. Happy birthday to Marsha today. Happy birthday to Gaydana. And Gaydana, this show is for you. Thank you for sharing your life with the world. And thank you, Marsha, for sharing your life with Gaydana and your journey together. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Betsy, really. I mean, I know Gaydana is just beaming. If shiny purple happy orbs actually beam, I think they scintillate a little bit. But I know she's real happy. I'm happy today. And, it's also our anniversary today. We decided when we had our real marriage, which was back in 1999 on the beach at sunrise, we decided to do it on our birthday because we figured it would be easier to remember. And it is.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday and happy anniversary. Memories. Josh cracks me up. Josh says to me he wants to go to a lesbian wedding. Don't ask me where this kid comes out with his ideas, but so if you ever get married again and you're going up to New Jersey, you have to invite Josh.
There you go. He can come. He can be my best man. But actually, I'm not really planning on getting married again. But, I wasn't planning on getting married in the first place. So, you never know how that stuff happens. It just sort of does.
That's true. And I wanted to point out, because I forgot to mention, that you are on the board of directors of Elder Options down where you live in Florida.
Correct.
Williston, Florida.
Yes.
And
the
you have
options is for all of Florida. I just I represent the area of Elder Options where I live, which is a huge area actually. It's a very big area.
And you have exciting things going on.
Oh, I do. I'm really loving it because I'll tell you the truth, Betsy. This COVID thing, it didn't really change my lifestyle that much because I work for myself and I work on a farm and I do landscaping and I do some caregiving. And so basically I'm outside most of the time or I'm 6 feet away from the 4 people that I see on a weekly basis anyway. So COVID didn't really change my life much, except that, I wear a mask when I go in a store, and I have always washed my hands a lot because I'm a medical person, and so that didn't change either. But that being said, I have still felt an itchiness, a restlessness, and I put some of that off to COVID because, our freedoms have been kind of tamped a little bit. We think about, I want to go to the beach, or I'd like to go to this big party, and then you go, I don't really want to get COVID either. And so I think all of us have been feeling kind of cramped. And so during that time, I was examining that emotion that I had, because I do that a lot. I try to be an objective observer of myself. And I realized that I wasn't really bored, except I was antsy because the life raft has been on hold for a year. I haven't really been able to do much with it because we're not doing events. And I felt like things were kind of falling apart a little bit, and I didn't like that. So during the time when I was feeling antsy, I would just put out to the universe, just show me, give me a clue, show me. That's probably one of the, I'm not big on prayer, but there's a couple of them I use a lot, and they're real simple. One is show me. The other is thank you. And they work for me. They're short, sweet, and simple. Anyway, so interestingly enough, what happened is I did get an answer in a most unusual way that I wasn't expecting at all. And this just happened a couple of weeks ago, and I'm very excited about it. A woman named Tanya Yarkoni reached out to me in a personal message. Turns out she's a caregiver too. Turns out she has been researching and studying a lot of the things I have in science, and has actually formulated a concrete plan of application of some of the science she's read about and how it can be utilized in the life of care partners. And so I was very intrigued about it. And the funny thing, people send me photos from all over the world that I use in the videos I make. This woman, Tanya, lives in Israel. And that fascinated me, too, because, like I said, I know a lot of people from around the world. I don't know anybody who lives in Israel. And that really kind of made me even more curious, because I was like, wow, what an interesting place to live. And here's this woman, caregiver, who is on the same page as I am a whole lot, working with the science stuff and trying to formulate a plan that can lead care partners to a place of emotional balance, well-being, and peace of mind. And so it's all coming together for me now. All this time I spent feeling antsy, in addition to getting a message from Tanya to join her group and collaborate with her. I also have now signed up to become an instructor through Elder Options, and I'll be taking some training classes, which are right up my alley, and they all tie into this stuff that Tanya's doing and things that I have been doing this past year too. I'll be teaching a class on balance, and I'll be teaching another class on Tai Chi for elders. And what's so cool to me is that I do a practice called Qigong, and Qigong is actually the grandmother of Tai Chi. It's a very, very ancient form of a healing art is what it is, and it employs very simple swaying, easy movements that are good for flexibility and strength. It focuses on breathing properly, and it focuses on mindfulness. And all of these three tools are actually the things that really help bring me and Gaydana through dementia and to the happy place. And it's a form of, really what it is, it's a form of dynamic, moving meditation, really. And that suits me because I'm kind of a hyper person, and it's a little bit hard for me to sit still for too long. But I think as I journey on in this, I'm going to move some of my dynamic meditation to more sitting still, actual, very still meditation, because there's something about when we pay attention to our breathing and we let go of all our checklist, everything we have to do today, that person who pissed me off yesterday, the appointment I have next week, all of the crazy, busy mind stuff that we, especially care partners, carry around, because we're not just carrying our own agenda, we're also the tour guide and manager of our loved ones' agenda. So it gets really busy in our brains, and it drains our energy to the point where we almost start losing our own identities. And that's a form of self-death. It really is. And I'm here today to tell you I'm a happy, healthy person. Right after my wife died, I was in the hospital because I had had a heart attack a few years earlier, and I'd been having chest pain for a month. That was 5 years ago. Today I've worked through a lot of my grief. I'm healthy. I have a way to keep a roof over my head because I had to rebuild my entire life after Gaydana died. I'd been out of the workforce so long, and I had to decide, am I going to go back into medical and be an x-ray tech again? Or what do I really want to do with my life now? I have been given this opportunity to rebuild my life however I want it to be. And I'm going to fill all of you in on a little secret. Each and every one of us has that same opportunity. And the truth of the matter is, none of us have to wait until we're through with our caregiving to start creating our own life that we want and that brings passion and joy to us, and so that we can share it with others. We don't have to wait. How many times in life have you heard people say, we've probably said it ourselves, I'll be happy when? I will be successful when? If this will happen, then I'll be satisfied. If, when. All these stipulations. Well, I'm here today to pose a question to you all. Why not do it right now? Why not choose today to just start planting that seed and start thinking about the things in your life that you really value, that bring joy in your heart, that put a smile on your face when you think about it. When those things happen to you, feel that energy. Stop a minute. Observe that feeling that you have. And allow your own body and mind to imprint that as a memory into you. Because then I'll tell you something about your memories. They change. And you can take your memories and things from the past and turn them into tools to help you create a happy place. And you start doing it today, and you don't even have to run to it. It comes to you. You just have to go on with your life, forget that you put those intentions out there, and just start doing the things that are right in front of you. If you will trust this process, because I've tried it so many times in my life, and I can tell you every time it has worked. If you will trust the process, you will be amazed. It takes some work. It takes some practice. It takes some persistence. But I'm here today, 5 years after my wife died, to tell you that all of this is very, very possible, and it's not even that hard to do. So I'm real excited how things are falling together right now in my life. They're all things that I've been actually working on. As you know, Betsy, God, we were just talking about this earlier. You and I have known each other for about 6 years now. You and I were in the trenches together, really not having much clue of what we were doing, except for the, few medical skills that you and I happen to both possess because we were both in the medical field. But the truth is, Betsy, none of what I learned working in a hospital in a Trauma 1 ER taught me how to be a dementia care partner. I had to learn that.
Same with me.
I had to learn it on my own. And so all of you caregivers out there that are feeling the stress and the grief and the sadness and guilt and the anger and all of those things that are oppressing your hearts and souls, I hope you stop and listen to me a minute and start thinking about the life that you want and start connecting with how that joy feels, how that good energy feels. And tap into that, because at the end of the day, one of the biggest lessons I learned being a dementia care partner is that at the end of the day, none of my words mattered. I could walk in the room and say, "Hi, Gaydon, I love you." But if inside I was going, "Oh, God, another day of this, and I have to clean up crap again, and I got to do laundry and go get medicine and all this stuff," that's the energy my wife heard. She didn't hear me say, "Hi, Gaydon, I love you." She heard me grousing, because it's the energy that speaks. So I figured out pretty quick that if my energy was talking, that's what I better start paying attention to. And I'm here to tell you, I've been running this experiment for years now. It works. And what got me started on wanting to run the experiment was Gaydonna and I being so miserable, sitting home alone, just waiting to die. And it was heart-wrenching. And I finally got so fed up with it that I came home one day, walked in the house, and I told Gaydonna that I was pissed off, that I was mad about dementia, and I was going to do something about it. And by God, it was that anger energy that catapulted me. And so I learned how to take those negative emotions and turn them around, rub off the sharp, jagged edges, and I learned how to take those hard emotions and handle them as tools without cutting myself anymore. And it's very possible to do. And there's hope for all of us. The conversation needs to change, and we're starting to do that. Each and every day, people are waking up and starting to hear these things and think about them and become aware of them. And that's how we change the world. That's how we change our lives. It's an inside-out job. It starts from a ripple within your own heart, and then we can manifest it outwardly by fine-tuning our thoughts. And it works.
That's great advice, Marsha. Thank you. That's great advice. You are a prime example, Marsha, of someone who not only survived caregiving, but you thrived in it. And this is, what, I've tried to tell people, you can thrive and survive in caregiving. It's a mindset. And you've been saying this for years. And I was the same way with the anger. I was mad. And I used my anger to fuel my passion, went in my car. I never would have gotten in my car to do videos if it wasn't for my anger that I had to diffuse in a positive way. And you were definitely a role model.
Look where that anger took you today. Now you're hosting radio shows. From sitting in your car being pissed off to helping other care partners on a radio show. That is the power and the energy and the potential that I'm talking about, girlfriend, that very thing right there.
Absolutely. I agree. And Marsha, you taught me so much. Donna's journey taught me so much. And I just want to thank you for, what you do in helping others. Can you tell the audience your YouTube channel? Because I'm not sure of the name of it. I want to say Dementiaville or Dementialand, but I'm not sure of the name of it. As many times as I watch it.
I have a YouTube channel. You can go on YouTube and type in Marsha Burr. And my name is spelled Marcia, not S-H-A. But it's still always Marsha. Anyway, so I have a YouTube channel, Marsha Burr. Inside that YouTube channel, I have different playlists. And one of them, my biggest one, is called Marsha's Dementiaville Highway. And that's where I've made almost 250 videos to date, where I take songs that all of us have heard, songs that maybe very few people have heard, songs from all over different genres of music, And I listened to the lyrics, and because now I'm on the other side of this caregiving adventure, I'm still in it, but just on a different side of it now, I hear words differently because you can't unlearn things. You can't unsee things once you see them. You can't become unaware once you're aware. So these lyrics now take on new meaning to me, and I make videos from photos that people send me from all over the world, care partners send me, of their loved ones or things they do, things they love, different things. Some pictures, really show how dementia really is. They're not all real happy pictures because not all my videos are sunshine lollipops, because life isn't. But anyway, they help me. They're a tool for me, actually, because it's my creative art Zen mode that I like to do, and it takes me out of myself. I kind of lose track of time doing it. I'm a photographer. I love music. And so I've just taken all these different things and put them into making these videos that help put a face on dementia and create awareness so that other people might start going, oh, wow, I'd never considered that. And I find that music is a wonderful tool because it tells stories where if I sat at a podium and lectured to you, you wouldn't get the same message. But the song will tell it very well. And that's the magic of
beautiful.
The other thing about music is that it lights up every part of your brain. So it's a very good activity for people who have dementia. It brings memories back to them. It floods them with emotions, that they recall good things in their lives. So music's one of the most powerful tools there is to have in Dementiaville. So that's my station, Marsha's Dementiaville Highway.
And how can people get in touch with you, Marsha?
The easiest way is just friend me on Facebook or follow me on Facebook. My wall is public. You can send me PMs, too. I will get back to you. I might not be immediately because I do have a bunch of friends, and I work and stuff, too. But I do always get back to people who reach out to me with questions or whatever. Or if you want to send me photos of your loved ones, I'd be happy to have those, too. You can send me a personal message on Facebook. I'll get it and get back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Marsha, for coming on Chatting with Betsy. Folks, go on Marsha's. Sure.
Just real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to leave you all with this thought today because we're talking about energies and changing and learning how, we can find our own inner happiness. And most of us think of ourselves as being caregivers. We survived it. We are surviving this horrid journey. And, there's nothing wrong with that energy because when you're in the thick of it in the trenches, you need it to triage your energy and what you're capable of doing and getting done. But there's no reason why you can't have this shift in your brain while you're surviving. And instead of holding on to the word caregiver, start telling yourself you're a care thriver. Start thinking about thriving and those things that make you feel good. It's a different energy, and that's what I'm talking about. So come join a group of us and start learning how to become a care thriver.
I love that. That's great, Marsha. Good advice, yes. And then, I know caregivers, when you're going through it, you don't believe that you can thrive, but Marsha and I are just two examples that you can thrive during caregiving.
And we're not the only ones. There's people with dementia who are thriving.
Right. That's right. I want to thank you, Marsha, again for coming on. And I want to thank you listeners for listening. I want to thank Jeannie White for writing the blog, producing the show. Please read the blog because it will have information. It will have pictures on there. And I want to thank Lynette Caldwell, CEO of Passionate World Talk Radio Network. And you can listen to this podcast again on your favorite podcast station. I'm on Spotify, Spreaker, Google, just to name a few. It's free to subscribe. And I just want to say thank you to all the caregivers out there doing a great job. Thank you, Marsha. Go on Marsha's YouTube channel because the videos are beautiful. It's beautiful memories. It touches my heart, especially when I see people who have passed on. And just the quotes that are on Marsha's video are very heart-touching. I just want to encourage everyone to check that out. And if you need a support group, you can check my support group out, #Kick Alzheimer's Ass Movement, and would love to have you join. And I want to thank everyone again. In a world where you can be anything, folks, please be kind. Until we chat again, this is Betsy Wurzel, host of Chatting with Betsy and Passionate World Talk Radio Network. Bye-bye now.
Do you want to become a talk show host? Do you have a great idea? Passionate World Talk Radio is currently looking for podcast hosts for our Internet Talk radio station. Please email us at pwrnetworkllc@gmail.com with your name, email address, cell phone number, and podcast topic. In return, you will receive a 3-minute intro on air to a live audience about your podcast. Remember, just email us your name, email address, and your podcast topic, and in return, you will receive a free 3-minute intro on the air. How cool is that? Thank you for listening to Passionate World Talk Radio. You can listen to this program all over again by going over to https://passionateworldtalkradio.com. You can also hear it on Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Alexa, AMFM247.com every Tuesday evening between 8 and 9 p.m. YouTube, Facebook, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, and all the other podcast directories one can find on the Internet.